Hi, I'm Thomas Miglis. I'd like to tell you a story about how painting came to be. I was always interested in art. I think I really, uh, drifted to artistic things as a therapy for myself. I was kind of a loner kid growing up, and so I started drawing when I was very little. I got a lot of good affirmations from my mom that it was the best thing she ever saw. Of course, put it on the fridge, and but really, I never thought that I was actually good enough. So I really did it just for personal reasons, for my own therapy, and throughout my life, I've drawn, and then I've had dark, quiet spells where I didn't draw. I didn't use my creative abilities to express myself or to have that therapeutic outlet. Um, Recently, since I got sober at September 11th, 2018, about 20 months ago, um, I started opening up to some things that I did for when I was younger that were healthy and that were constructive. And about 5 months ago, I had about a year sober, and I'd taken a friend to painting with a twist. So I was introduced to acrylics, and the idea that I could paint, that I could do this, it was just handed to me step by step. So it became doable, and that voice that I usually listen to that says I'm not good at this, so don't try. That voice was kind of silenced, and I did a couple painting with a twist sessions with friends, and and then at that point where I had a year sober, I was in some sort of dark depression about is my sobriety authentic? Am I really doing this process, or am I a fake? And so I went on a run. It was supposed to be a 3 mile run, and it ended up being a 6 mile run. In the midst of that run, I got a lot of clarity. Um, my body was telling me, "What are you doing? We don't do this. Get to the lazy boy and Netflix and chill and stop doing this. This is not fun." And but you get past a certain point where that threshold, and maybe it's endorphins or whatever, but you get past that point of physical pain and physical exhaustion, and the spirit gets to stand up and speak up. The body is sort of punished into you don't get a vote right now, so the spirit is talking. And what the spirit told me is you are doing this, you are in this run for your sobriety, and it's a good race, and you don't have to knock it out of the park. You just have to show up, you just have to be present, be available, and God makes me able. And that's what I've seen in my recovery. And I got an image in this long run where I was, just dying, but I couldn't stop running. I went for a 3 mile run. It ended up being a 6 mile run. Um, Towards the end of that run, I got this vision of my recovery as an ascension, as coming out of the mire and the muck that my life had become, into this vibrant experience, this vibrant encounter with the breather of stars that was full of color, full of variety, full of uh, beauty in everything, in other people, in nature around me, that I discovered in my ride, my bicycle, trips around our trails here we have in San Antonio, and on the running trails, seeing the world in a different way with sober eyes. Um, and so when I got home, got a shower, cleaned up, I was invigorated. Was not in that dark place. I got the materials that I picked up after going to painting with a twist. I bought some acrylics and a canvas and a little cheap easel, and I went in the backyard and I made this painting that I immediately titled Ascension. And it is, it's kind of a crude image, almost like a what is that, the Jewish monster, the Gola, that is made out of mud, and God breathes life into it, and he's walking, and the ground that he's walking on is this muck, this brown and umber and red, this dark mess, that my life was, and it's being drawn up into this vortex, this spiraling, uh, uh, this spiraling sort of pattern of color and vibrancy and new experiences, new outlooks, completely like what the program of AA calls a psychic change, a complete rearrangement of ideas and outlooks. Um, and then it's spiraling around this light, this bright light that is God, and sort of drawing me in my recovery, drawing me up into itself in an intimate connection, full of color, full of promise. And that's what kind of inspired this painting. And when I was done with it, this is the encouragement part, I guess. When I was done with it, I saw something that was bigger than me. That was this was bigger than my abilities, and it brought back that same theme that am I able? Am I capable of doing this thing, this challenge that I'm called to do? Maybe not. Maybe the answer is no. You're not. And does that sound like encouragement? Here's the thing. It's not my job to be capable. It's not my job to be to only paint when I consider myself an artist. We're all artists. We're all writing a story. We're all creating something in our lives. And so my objective is to be available and let God make me able. Let God determine my capabilities. So 90% of it is showing up, suiting up and showing up. And then once you're there, God will provide the other 10%, the ability. That's what this painting had become for me. It was something that came out better than I thought I could do. And it continues to, I look back at it and continues to kind of inspire me because it's pleasant to look at. And that's what our life is when we surrender, when we sort of get out of the way of what God wants to do in our life. Recently, I just a couple friends asked me for copies of it, so I went to FedEx and I went to the copy store and printed 5 copies, and I got on the internet, figured out how to label these and stuff, and I have 1 of 5 on all the prints, 2 of 5, etc. And then the name Ascension in the middle, and then I signed it. That was really awkward because I don't like the way my signature looks, and that's a lie. That I don't like the way my life looks. I don't like how my outside doesn't, or my inside doesn't match up with your outside, and that is just a lie. Everything about what you create is beautiful. Everything, even the foibles, even the mistakes, are part of a process that God is perfecting. He works out all things for the good to those who love Him and are called according to His purpose. And that means all things, no exceptions. Just like Travis Park, I love their one of their mottos is unconditional love and justice, and I put in there no exceptions. So same thing goes for your worthiness in God's eyes. You show up and He provides the capability and the power. It comes from Him, and He's put it inside of you, and it's your choice how you use it. That's what this painting is for me, Ascension. I hope you enjoy it.